Yeah, what up, though? Sauce is chillin'. What more can I say? We killing them. We back again. Welcome to another edition of Sauce is Chillin'. I'm your host, Sauce, of course. As always, you can follow me on TikTok at Sauce, of course, Instagram at Sauce, of course. Make sure to check out the Sports Bar Podcast, which is our group on Facebook, the SBP. That's me and my man Prime. Matter of fact, hold up. Let me see. Let me see. Prime in the building?
What up, yo?
What's happening, bro? What's going on with you?
Another day, another dollar. Just got home from making that dollar.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
hear that. I'm out here in the Wednesday night heat. You know, even at 8:15, it's still hot.
it's ridiculous out there for it to be this time of evening, man. I almost broke a sweat from the car to the door.
That's how they get you, bro. That's how they get you. I appreciate you taking the time to pop up over here. Once again, Prime was with us a couple of weeks ago, probably a month and a half ago, something like that, for real. I don't even remember what we talked about. It was so long ago. I'm sure the WNBA was involved at some point, though.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. So we figured since we missed our last show, we didn't get a chance to chop it up on Sunday in the SBP. So why not pull up today, right? And get it
Let's go.
in a little something. Is it cool? Yeah. I guess a shout out to Maxwell. Have I ever told you about the time that my wife and I went to a Maxwell show?
Hmm.
Angles. You know what? I probably shouldn't tell that. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. Don't worry about it.
Let it go.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta, edit in real time. So we just cut that part out. Don't even worry about that. But anyway, we are in the midst of the Olympics at this point of July. The Olympics have been going on. Well, the opening ceremonies were last Friday, so a week, almost a week, 5 days, pretty
Hmm.
much since the opening ceremonies. And the USA, as usual, has been getting busy, but not as many goals as one would expect from the US at this time. But still, I think maybe double the medals of anybody that's even close, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't check, but I know we're running it up on the medals. You been watching the Olympic action?
So I've been watching some of it, like when I can. I've been having it on at work, like in my office, but it's been a busy week. So I can't, a lot of times I can just sit back at my desk and, watch games or watch certain things. But this week's been a little different. Got somebody on vacation. Been a crazy week just in general. So I've been in and out. I've tried to go back and peep at a few things like after the fact, to see how things were done. See if I can find a clip or two on YouTube. But um, outside of the men and the women's basketball. And of course, Simone, of course. Yeah, definitely Simone. I'm gonna break my neck for that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen as much. I've been able to peep in on some of the swimming. An event here and there, a little bit of the some of the other joints, but I haven't really been tuned in the way I have in years past.
Understood, understood. It is a busy time. Like last Olympics, uh, I mean, we were back in swing, but we were still in COVID because it was 2020 didn't happen until 2021. So we still had some COVID things going on and people moving kind of cautiously in different venues. So it's a little different this time around. 3 years later, the whole world is open. Everybody working, doing everything, and that's just the way it is. I've been checking in, not so much during the day, because usually my daughters and I watch in the evening. They're actually watching right now, and I'm sure I'm missing out on something good. But before I stepped out for the show, I know I saw Katie Ledecky win a goal, and I know that. Well, I actually caught the first half of the men's game today against South Sudan,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody was hooping. But I don't know if you watched any of that. But Joel Embiid did not play in the first half. I don't think at all.
I caught a quick. I don't know. I caught a quick glimpse of that as well. I didn't really get to sit in front of it, so I was kind of in and out when I saw. So, but I didn't at the time. I never thought about that he wasn't in the game.
Yeah,
And when did he play at all? You know.
I don't know if he played in the second half, but of course, the U.S. went on to win double digits. They were manhandling South Sudan, of course, as expected. After South Sudan played them to a 1 point game in the
Mm-hmm.
exhibition, the U.S. couldn't come out here and slack off at all. So they handled business as they should. Derek White was balling though on both ends of the floor.
Well, the bigger question is, I'm gonna ask you: did Jason Tatum play? Did Tatum get in the game?
Yeah, he played. He was in there early and often
Right.
that I saw. He played quite a bit, and but yeah, even Halliburton knocked down two threes in the first half after he
Nice.
got in there. So everybody was hooping. AD was getting buckets. KD was doing this thing, of course. Book Devin Booker is probably, and it might now be, it might be Devin Booker and Derek White at this point. Like they are playing whatever their role is. That's what they're doing. It's surprising to see a Devin Booker in a role that is not
Mm-hmm.
the leader or the scorer, but he is taken to that role, and he's been on the court like whenever I watch, he's usually on the court.
Did you? Yeah, he's been balling. He's been balling. I saw him definitely the first game, and then a little bit that I saw today. But did you see? What did you think about KD in game one? You know what I'm saying? I mean, well, in that game, it's crazy, right?
Bro was cooking. He was cooking. Uh, I like to see it though. Some people try to say it's because he didn't play in whatever exhibition game because he was resting or whatever. I'm like, I mean that's cool, but that ain't gonna make his shot better. I don't, he ain't gonna be more locked in on his shot. He just can shoot. Just let it be. He can shoot. It ain't got to be well this happened or that happened. It's KD and he can shoot and he's one of the best in the world. So he got out there and started cooking. But I love to see it.
Yeah, I know you saw all the memes and stuff going across social media where they pulled the KD joint and they pulled it from the above the rim, uh, the above the rim.
Well, wait,
But
wait. No, I actually didn't see it. I don't think.
man, social media was flooded, especially over on. I'm always gonna call it Twitter. Over on Twitter, but I
That's your
saw
spot.
some of the other platforms as well, where everybody made their own little joints. When they're at the summer basketball, when the basketball tournament, and Pop, and Shep came in the game, and Pop was like, "Yo, it's like, yo, he can't play. He's not on the roster.
Yeah.
He can't play." And I'm like, "Where did he come from?" Man, they tied that joint to KD every which way but lose. Man, it was hilarious, man. It was hilarious.
That's fire. I love anything that references above the rim. So, yeah, of course, that's going to be fire. Speaking of fire, um, as we talked about the men's, the women got out there the other day. I'm glad they played tomorrow, man. I'd be missing out on the women. But they
Mm-hmm.
got out there the other day and got busy as expected against a tough opponent, Japan, who they played in the championship game the last Olympics,
Mm-hmm.
and Japan was hooping, yo. They
They
played
can shoot the
scrappy.
three.
They was knocking down threes. It was crazy. But of course, the U.S. dominated for the most part, and won by what 20, 24, 26, 26,
Like,
the same
yeah,
as the men did in the first game.
yeah, shout out to that entire team, man, especially rebounding, after everybody was questioning them, but losing to Team WNBA. I think the person I was most impressed with, of course, was Chelsea Gray, because Gray was just out there dishing, bro. Dishing, just doing her thing. And I'm sitting there laughing at all these people talking about, well, she look a step slow. She looks this, she did that. And I'm like, come on, bro.
They,
Like really,
they ain't never seen her before. They don't
yeah.
know she don't move that. She don't move no
That's
faster than what
report
she
like
moves.
she's hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's
That's how
all I've
she.
seen.
Have y'all ever seen her walk? She always looked like she hurt.
Yeah, man. The questions, man, that these people are asking. Like, we just got a big win in impressive fashion. Just let it go. Y'all talking about how people walk. We out here still talking about who should have been on the team. Why Tarasi not on the court? Why is she on the court? It's just, just enjoy.
Just enjoy it. That's what
Enjoy
it
these
is.
beat downs. Shout out to Asia too, though.
Of course, Asian and my dog Stewie got busy. It was wrecking, especially in the first half. I think they had like 19 and 15 in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
respectively. They was wrecking shop, and I hope to see more of that tomorrow. For whatever reason, I can't remember the Peacock password, bro. I can't remember the Peacock password, so I can't get it on my iPad and
Uh-huh.
watch it. When I end up catching them, I just go to lunch when
Got
it's.
to reset that joint.
I know, but I gotta true reset it. Start from the beginning. I don't want to mess nothing up because the kids already on. They hype on the Olympics. They love the Olympics more than I do. Like they
Yep.
are.
They don't remember the password.
They no, they don't. Actually, my wife had it, so it's on my wife. Whatever it is, it's on my wife. So we stuck.
Yes, you might just have to get that group chat going real quick. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. Please don't be upset. I'm gonna have to reset this thing and then get everybody the password. You got to do the family group chat, man.
Unfortunately, we've been that route 2 days. We still ain't got an answer. So pray for us. Pray for us.
Got you.
She. But you mentioned Simone Biles earlier, and of course the U.S. women's gymnastics team took home the gold in the team event yesterday. First of all, let me say shout out to the men. They took home the bronze in the team event. First medal since I don't know, at least 3 Olympics ago.
Something
I,
like that. Yeah.
I can't remember what year it was, but it's been like 20 years, 16 to 20 years since the men have medaled. So shout out to them. But of course, Simone Biles and the ladies, Jay Carey. Shout out to Hesley, even though she didn't get to compete. Suni and Jordan Childs. Did I name everybody? Sony, Jordan, Jay, yeah, Hesley, and Simone. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to them for winning that gold. I love it. And they talking that talk.
Oh, and confident with it. Confident with it. Talking that talk on camera, talking that talk on TikTok. You know, I'm loving every minute of it. I mean, how could you not love that entire team, Simone Biles, and the support that her teammates have for her?
Yep.
Whether we're talking about everything that she does, what she fights through, and then the things she also has to fight through off the court, man. But it's great to see her continue to put on the performances that she's putting on, especially after we had that little scare, her tweaking of that little injury, and still see her come out there and perform and like do her thing. Like, we go through these times, these generations with these athletes, man, and we always talking about that person is it. That's the one. Whether we talking about the Williams sisters, Serena, or we had Tiger had his part, but watching her come back here after all the adversity, all the stuff they said about her when she bowed out in some of the events in the past, getting death threats and things of that nature. It's just wonderful to see her to come back and do her thing and flaunt unapologetically. You know what I'm saying? She just does her thing, man.
At the age of 27, on top of all that. And
It's
27 is,
so, I don't want to be selfish, but it's almost now at the point I don't want her to compete no more, but I do. Because I don't want anything to go wrong. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I don't even want her to have an Olympics at any point. It's just that she just don't go out there and just handle business. You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
like selfishly, I want her just to call it, but I really don't. But I do. You know what I mean?
We need her to finish, though. We need her to finish strong in the individuals to
Yeah.
go
Oh, yeah.
ahead and knock them things out. And, and on it, but she already went in on a high note regardless because she's the greatest of all time. But I want to see her do a little more. And plus, she didn't do the bows on the vault. So
Indeed.
Valve one, I believe that is. So gotta have that. Gotta have that. Man, it's crazy. Last thing about them, it's crazy because of the way they were bouncing. I don't know what's up with the floor, but they were bouncing off that floor yesterday, bouncing. So every time they landed, it was never a small bounce. It was like a big bounce, especially Simone. I mean, obviously with the power that she has when it comes to tumbling, but everybody was bouncing. It was wild.
Hey, I want to say this real quick if you don't mind, man. I do
Yep.
want to mention we were just talking about the women. I'll be watching tomorrow. I think it's going to be early in the morning, hoping that the women's 303 team bounces back. They caught their L 17-13. You know what I'm saying? And so they didn't caught the L. So tomorrow, I believe it's next up should be who's next? Australia, I think.
I think they had two L's.
Is it two? All right. So I
Yeah,
saw I
it was
saw the
today.
Germany one. So I'm still getting used to the rounds where they have others like the pool round
It's very
and
confusing.
quarterfinal, and then
Yeah, the men. I think the men and the women are 0-4 combined in
gotcha.
three on three.
Yeah.
It's tough, and you know, even though it's basketball, 3-on-3 is a different game than most of those players are used to playing, and
Right.
especially at that pace and the rules. Not to
Mm-hmm.
make excuses for them, we still shouldn't be 0-4, but you know, it is what it is. And I think as long as the 5-on-5 teams do what they're supposed to do, then I think the people will be okay, generally speaking. Yeah, but yeah. So more Olympics tonight. Well, today. As soon as the show's over, I'm gonna be back in there, see what's going on. There'll be some more gymnastics on. Probably happen during the day, and I tried to avoid the updates as much as possible. So hopefully we'll see things fresh and new as they come along tonight, and we're watching the shows. Speaking of shows, you've said you've been busy. Have you had a chance? I won't even ask you about that because both things are have you had a chance? Actually, have you had a chance to listen to the latest album from the God MC? For those who don't know, Rakim Allah, the God MC, dropped a new album on Friday. His first studio album in 15 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 15 years since 2009. First studio album. It was 7 songs, a bunch of guest appearances. I've listened to it multiple times for Prime. Have you checked it out?
I did. I did
Talk to
immediately.
me.
I like the album, man. I really like the album, and it's a lot of reasons why. First of all, Rakim behind the boards. I think behind the boards. I think he was out to prove a point.
Mm.
You know, not only probably do something that he really wanted to do for the longest time, like really just be complete control, but he wanted to prove a point, that he could do it.
Yeah.
I also kind of felt like it was, I don't know if I want to use a love letter to hip hop, but I think, from his perspective, but I use a appreciation type letter, I guess, because he's one of the artists that is, if you didn't catch how vocal he's been about supporting a lot of the artists that came after him.
Mm-hmm.
We hear so many of our folks that you and I came up on, and just not really with any of the artists today. The artists are still out here making music, but Rakim has been one of those people who continue to respect the grind and continue to respect a lot of the artists that came, through through the late '90s, through the 2000s. A lot of them is doing it today, and you can tell by the amount of the guest appearances, the mixtures. We've got plenty from a bunch of different eras in there. And he just get out there and just let them spit, man. Let them do their thing. And one thing that's real apparent is you've always known Rakim to say very little, next to no curse words, right?
Right.
Not saying we should be out here glorifying curse words. He let these people be themselves on his album. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else spitting, saying what they need to say, nothing off the chest. Looks like he didn't let them ask him to hold anything back. He asked them just to get straight at it, and do what
Right.
you do. And I don't have a lot of complaints. Honest with you, I would think the only complaint for me, and that's not even a complaint, the only downside for me to the album is, I wanted more of the God on the mic. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
wanted more of Rakim on the mic than we actually get on this project. But at what is it? Was it 32 minutes? At 32 minutes, 35, whatever it
32
is.
minutes. Yep.
Listening to this, and while I've complained about certain albums in the past, I think this was probably the perfect length for the project that he gave. And I would probably say it's not a song on there that I don't like. Source. The one I probably played the most because it's so catchy. It's probably my favorite. Would be the International joint. And
Respect.
but some fine performances on this album, man. I like it.
Indeed, indeed. I'm just glad to see Rakim back in the mix as far as studio albums. I do the same. For those who don't know, I dropped like an album review the same day after I listened to it the first time. And for whatever reason, I guess because it's Rakim, that joint kind of moved a little bit. Because I surely didn't expect, I expected to go like 500 views, just like the other random stuff. That joint shot up to 20,000. I was like, why is it at 20,000? But I think it's because it's Rakim. I think it's because it's Rakim.
It happens.
It happens. Every once in a while, you catch one. But I thought it was a solid project, enjoyable. I've listened to it multiple times. Like I said, I enjoyed the music. The production was done well by Rakim again. For those who don't know, Rakim produced the whole joint. Chico Slim, what up? I see you. Um, he produced the whole joint, but definitely wish there were more Rakim bars. I'm good with the time, 32 minutes. That's the sweet spot between like 32 and 45 minutes for albums these days. It's fine with me, but I do wish there were more Rakim bars. There was a lot of guest appearances, a lot, a lot,
Mm-hmm.
a lot. I'm not gonna say he could have left some off because it was fine as it was, but if a few of them weren't on there, I would have been okay with that. That being said, I have to say, rest in peace to Chino XL. I mean, this album dropped on Friday. Chino passed on what, Monday, Sunday or Monday.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I heard about it yesterday, so I think it was it Sunday or Monday?
It was Sunday or Monday. Um, and the wild part is, I don't know if you've ever seen, but in the comments on TikTok, sometimes my guy Doom the Wiz pulls through, and he actually has a song with Chino XL that they just did recently. Like he just got the verse less than a month ago. So that's pretty wild timing for that. But yeah, you hate to see it, man. We lost DJ Polo, who had been
and Cool G Rap is on the album.
Yeah, he had been. Yeah, and Cool G Rap is on. I wouldn't even talk about that, but that's a great point. Cool G Rap is on the Rakim album, and DJ Polo. It used to be Cool G and DJ Polo as a group. Polo passed away last week, and then Chino XL, who was on the album, passed away just the other day. So rest in peace to both of those hip hop gentlemen. And yeah, man, as we get older, the more we're gonna see it. The more we're gonna see the death.
Yeah, we definitely, speaking of death, in this album too. And I was talking about the appreciation for all. You got to think about it. We got Prodigy on the album.
Yep.
You got DMX on the album.
Yep.
And you have Nipsey on the album. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody else that's not with us anymore, but I remember those three distinctly.
Absolutely. And now you see you got Chino XL. That's wild, man. I mean, that album just came out. That album just came out. He was alive when the album came out, and he's no longer with us. And that was just 5 days ago.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, Fred the Godson. How to forget Fred the Godson? How did I forget Fred? I don't even know how.
Yeah, I was like,
the guys right there.
I feel like there's somebody else, but I could not think of, and I definitely wasn't going to pull Fred the Godson's name out. So appreciate you mentioning him as well. But yeah, if you haven't checked out the Rakim album, make sure you check that joint out. And salute the God MC.
Also, real quick too, I gotta show him some props, spreading the love. The guy that idolizes him to death is on this album as well. It's Corrupt. Yeah, so
on the lead single.
I think You think this might be his new one of his new lanes? His rest of years of hip hop. Like he's out here, controlling projects now, producing in the whole 9 yards. Do you think this is gonna be a lane for him?
I I don't know because I know there's a guy behind the scenes named M80,
Mhm.
and for whatever reason, I don't know what he does, but I think that he was maybe not the brains behind the project, but he kept pushing for Rakim to do the project. According
Mm.
to somebody, it might have been Domingo. It might have been Domingo, producer Domingo, that said that, but it was somebody that was big enough M80 because he kept pushing for Rakim to do the project and trying to get it done and all that. So a lot of credit was going to him, according to Domingo. But I hope that we get more Rakim work as far as bars. Like I ain't saying it got to be a long project, and I'm not even saying that it shouldn't have a lot of guest appearances. I just need more bars from him. That would solidify, it. Especially with what we have on the horizon, which I'll mention in a second. Actually, we can get unless you wanted to have something else about Rakim you wanted to
Oh
share.
no, no.
Yeah, so but big up to Rakim. But on the horizon, we've got let's see, last week was Rakim. Oh, let's see, today's Wednesday, a week and 2 days from now, if I'm not mistaken, MC Light drops her album. In case you didn't know, MC Light has a new project. She's dropped 2 singles off that joint already, and I'm looking forward to that because it's MC Light, obviously. But also in September, we are finally expected to get that Force album from LL Cool J.
Mm, no doubt.
It's our time, Prime. It's our time. We're going back in time.
Let's get it.
Did you happen to now? First of all, Rakim, not Rakim, LL has done quite a few interviews recently within the last few months, but within the last few weeks, I've seen joints from him with Charlemagne, which if you haven't seen that one, check that joint out because LL is talking real slick in that joint. He is talking real slick, speaking on lots of things, including Jay Z. And just today, I believe, the interview with Shay Shay, Uncle Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp, dropped. I definitely say check out the Charlemagne joint because, respectfully, I don't want to hear I don't want to hear Shannon Sharp interview anybody about hip hop ever again because he don't know what he's talking about. So it is what it is. But have you had a chance to check out that interview with Shay Shay?
Yeah, I definitely I caught most of the Shay Shay joint. That was another instance where I had it playing while I was working. I was in and out of the office most of the time, but I caught a big chunk of it. And I got to say, I have to say that LL ain't changed a bit. Like we would see LL on the TV screen. They did some movies back in the day. He's had his hit TV show that he actually has a huge stake in.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and so he's still getting that money. But as far as getting on the microphone and letting you know who he is, how he feel about you, how he feel about himself, LL Cool J has not changed a bit. So yeah, I caught the interview and there was real good stuff in there too.
You know what's funny about LL, yo?
What's
I
that?
have never seen, like, I don't want to say never, but I'm trying to think. I have never seen someone that we all know is super cocky say they are humble so much. That man's like, yes, I'm so humble. I'm like, dog, you are, no, you're not. I mean, I don't know you personally, but humble is not the word that comes to mind when I think of LL. And I know
Yeah,
he's saying, like, even in one part of the interview, um, he told Shannon, I didn't say I was always humble. I didn't say I used to be humble back in the day. I'm saying I'm humble now. Even now, I'm still looking at him like, sir, I'm not buying it because I'm not hearing it and I'm not seeing it. But I could be wrong.
yeah. LL, I guess he's humble in his mind, I guess.
Maybe in
In
comparison.
his, yeah, in his own way. But yeah, I don't know about that, man. I think listening to him and again, thinking that this is the same dude that's never changed. It was a couple of things that did impress me though. Well, he telling the truth or not, I don't know, but I kind of believe he was. One of them was when he said he went back and studied how to rhyme again. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I thought that was deep. He said he went back to the roots, studied it, got back on the microphone, so he can get back on the microphone and feel what he used to feel. But he just studied how to rhyme again.
You
And
know
this is
why?
from a guy. What is that?
You know why?
Why?
Because he said in that Charlemagne joint, he said when him and Dre got together, he felt like he wasn't good enough, wasn't where he needed to be for the Dre beats. Whether that is the real reason or not, that's what he said. And he said I had to go, but that's exactly what he said. I had to go back and retrain himself with the rhyming because he didn't feel he was up to par when dealing with Dre. That's how he ended up with dealing with Q-Tip.
Interesting, interesting. One thing about LL, we can say whether he's telling the truth or not, it doesn't matter if he's doing an interview on Oprah, if he's doing an interview somewhere else. He is the master of putting together explanations. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? He is the I'm trying to think if I really ever heard a bad explanation from LL. I'm like, I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but it don't sound good. You know what I'm saying? It sounds it
I'm very,
sounds believable.
I'm very glad you said that, Prime, because listen, it's a lot of times I hear MCs, rappers, or just people in general that I haven't heard talk as much in the past, but I hear them now, and I'm listening to them talk, and I'm like, dog, I ain't buying. I'm not buying what this person is saying. I've thought that a lot recently in the last couple years. With LL, I know LL. I mean, LL's not gonna make himself look bad in telling a story. That is never gonna happen. He's never gonna look bad. And even when he says something like, "I was wrong in the cannabis situation," even saying that turns into a LL propping himself up. It's just what it is. It's just what it is.
Did you catch it was a few sports references in there. I don't know if it was the time when he was talking about he wanted to, play football. He also was a boxer. It was somewhere in there in the conversation. I don't know if it was that exact answer, but it almost made me feel like he threw a jab at Jamie Foxx again in that joint too.
Yeah, when he was talking about the locker room in football, I caught
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you lock. And I'm like, yeah, he throwing a little slick jab at Jamie because you already know what happened. It's out there. So
He was setting Shannon up. He tried to set Shannon up for two things. He tried to set that joint up for Shannon to say something about it, but he ain't catch on. Why?
mm-hmm.
Because he's not a good interviewer. Love the interviews. He's not a good interviewer. That's the problem.
No, not at all.
And the other thing he tried to set up was the Jay-Z joint. He tried to set up the Jay-Z joint. He threw it like things out there that would lead that direction, but I don't think Shannon knew enough to know to go that direction or knew the details. He even talked about Jay-Z, but he never pressed the issue. So LL wasn't going to be like, because LL don't want to look like he's being the attacker. He wants to be like, you asked me and I'm just responding and this is what happened. He ain't going to be like, yeah, it was me and I did. Yeah, he ain't going to do all that.
Yeah, I did like. Well, this was during the Jay-Z talk. It was when they asked him about the Def Jam with the Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
and he was
He
pushing. Yeah, and he was talking about the Mount Rushmore, and he talked about. He said, "Who's on it?" Of course, he's like, "LL is on it." He had Public Enemy. He had Slick Rick, and then interesting enough, he had the Beastie Boys.
He had Slick Rick and the Beastie Boys. He was really wilding. But anyway, go on.
So I got kind of to a quick discussion with a youngin that work with this, and I told you about this guy probably a billion times. He's a young guy, so we always have discussions all the time, and he don't agree with nothing. So in his eyes, if he don't agree with it, then it's trash. No matter he don't understand why. I tried explaining about the Beastie Boys and why the Beastie Boys had a diamond album and all that. Well, just
Right.
because the diamond album don't mean that it was good. I said, well, look, they had an audience, man. I said, regardless of what, and you weren't even born. And we had this conversation. But he thought it was ironic that even though he would be first to tell you that he loves Jay-Z, he doesn't have Jay-Z in his top 3 or whatever. But anyway, he thought it was ludicrous about the Beastie Boys situation. And I said, it may be. I said, but then again, you got to kind of put into perspective what he was talking about as well. Like, I thought that LL, because first I took it as, okay, he's throwing a jab here. And he still could have been. But then you think about the time period and when he came up, there's no Def Jam without LL. And you look at everything that came right within that time period. He's living in a moment. So if you think about the height of Def Jam, you should, you got to think about the Beastie Boys. They only made one album on Def Jam. That was the only album they had on Def Jam, but the joint went diamond. You know what I'm saying?
Went diamond.
We got platinum. It went diamond, bro. And regardless of the reasoning, it went diamond. Slick Rick. I'm never gonna fight that. I don't care where you have Slick Ricky, but you know how I feel about the great adventures of Slick Rick. It was a time. Yeah. And of course, we know you don't have to discuss the impact that that PE had. Def Jam, tell him who I am. The enemy is public. Yeah, so I think he was pretty much dealing in a time period with that one. But it could be a subtle shot to Jay-Z too.
Yeah, I hear you, and I believe you on that last part. It was a shot, subtle, but yeah, he not gonna stop. He's not gonna stop.
Real quick, speaking of shots too, I was surprised that even though it was just a quick one, Shay got him to drink though.
Yeah, he drank that joint and he about to die over that joint. Said, I don't drink, bro. I don't drink like that. Yeah, definitely not his forte. Oh man, look. Unfortunately, because the show we got started late because of some technical difficulties, we didn't get to get into the question. But we still have like a good 7 minutes. I don't know if you came up with anything. I mentioned the Prime that we could go through and just run through some questions real quick, just off the top, random question, anything on the table, just throw it out there. I'll answer, then I'll shoot one back at him, and he answers, and we go back and forth. We got a couple minutes. We can do a little something if you got something.
Anybody got anything in the comments?
Nope. I can ask you a question first.
Because I'm sitting trying to, me personally, I don't have anything that on my end.
Man. Well, I can. Well, tell me this, Prime. What's your favorite thing to eat in the morning for breakfast? Whoa. Pause. Time out. Prime. You know what I meant. What is your favorite breakfast food? I don't even know how to reword this thing, but you know what I'm talking about. Food. Yeah.
So what I eat frequently, like most of the time, is because I'm lazy and I'm not gonna get up and cook what I really want. Is that Raisin Bran Crunch coming clutch? That Raisin Bran Crunch is fire. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I can never go wrong with a great waffle or an omelet.
Raisin Bran. Is that an age thing, or have you been eating Raisin Bran for a long time?
So the Raisin Bran itself, I ate it off and on as a kid, especially when I run out of the Captain Crunch and all that, because we always kept Raisin Bran in the crib. It was always there. So when I was younger, when I was in school and stuff, when the Captain Crunch was gone and all that, yeah, I ate the Raisin Bran. But the Raisin Bran Crunch is something different. It's a little extra granola and it's kind of sweet, so you don't have to put no sugar on it unless you want to. But it's fine. It's fine.
I ain't never had no Raisin Bran ever in life. But I guess
at one time?
Not that I remember.
Not even the store brand?
Not unless it was by mistake. Because I don't remember ever eating Raisin Bran. Ever. Well, look, if you don't have nothing, I'm gonna keep going, Prime. Ain't gonna be nothing crazy though. I ain't gonna set you up for failure.
Let's do it.
What's your go-to gas station? I know the answer, but they don't.
Well, the go-to, I'm always complicated. The go-to and where I go most is two different stores. Where I go most is Wawa. And that's just mainly because right down the street, got two of them literally in opposite directions, both 2 minutes from my job. So that gets hit every day. All right, they're in the opposite directions. One on one side, 2 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on the other. But my go-to, because I'm not a rich man, so them points got to add up. I'm gonna hit that Kroger joint every time, player. Hey, shout out to our people, Vernice Love, who told me to make sure I use them gift cards and stuff too. She told me a trick. So,
yeah, that's not bad.
I didn't quite execute it the way she executed it, but I can tell you sources on one of my trips up to DC to a I don't know if I was going to see to the Nationals Park or either or a WNBA game, but I can tell you I legitimately went to the pump almost on E, and I filled my entire gas tank to the brim for $11.
Whoa, for real?
Yeah. A mixture of Kroger, built up Kroger points before they expired, and using the little gift card hack when they double and triple you up and all that. So yeah,
that's it right
$11 for a full tank, bro.
That's it. I ain't mad at that at all. Look, I gotta say that I'm gonna go back and answer the two questions. Since you don't have any questions for me, I will answer my own questions too. Kroger is probably the go-to. That's probably the go-to. Same reasoning. And I need to figure out that points thing, like Bernice said. But and as far as breakfast, I have been. You can call it laziness. That's what you called it. I'm gonna go with that as well because I ain't trying to get up and cook nothing in the morning. It's gonna be Frosted Flakes or Honey Nut Cheerios, one or the other, on a regular basis because ain't nobody trying to get up early just to be cooking. Who won't get up early and cook for themselves just because when you can just eat some cereal?
We know because we be eating breakfast sometime on our show. So
regular basis. You know how I do. You see what else I got for you, Prime? How are your Atlanta Braves doing this year?
Struggling, bro. Like we maintaining around about that mid level, but the injuries are out of this world, bro.
Yeah, I see.
All the best players too. A best pitcher, second best pitcher been in and out of the lineup. Best overall player done for the season.
Done.
Ozzy Albies just got hurt last week, so it's not like we're just getting injuries. It's to all of our best players.
Yeah.
So we got 4 of the best players on the roster, all out right now. But 5 of the best players, only one of them will be back soon, and one will be back probably about 7 weeks. So the struggle is real.
The dog days of summer are here, and look, because we're in the middle of the Olympics, in the middle of baseball season, but we do have our favorite, the NFL, around the corner, and man, too early question, but how you feeling about your boys?
Cowboys, I ain't paid a whole lot of attention to them. Only thing I want to see is CD get that paper,
get that bread.
I know we sustained the injury again to Sam Williams, so that they can't cross my timeline. But I'm not gonna lie to you. You know I love my boys. I love football.
Yep.
I didn't pay more attention to a lot of other training camps and everything else than I have to the Dallas Cowboys.
Respect. And I can't even respond to that talking about the Eagles because I don't pay attention to anything in the off season. I'd be checked out, bro. My brain, I don't have so much space in my brain, and I have to compartmentalize. So football be out the way until it's time for football to really get into and do the third fizzle. I think we're only 5 weeks away, right? 5 weeks away.
We're close. We are close.
Tapping on the door. Hey, look, I appreciate you coming through, Prime, chopping it up with me, and let the people know real quick where they can check you out.
I mean, check us out in the SBP on Facebook, as he said. You can check me out on X or Twitter, as I'm going to always call it, at Prime SBK. And that's it for the most part.
That's it for the most part. Y'all know me, Source of Course, at Source of Course on TikTok and on Instagram. Once again, appreciate you, Prime. Thank y'all for coming through. We out here, and yeah, I guess go USA. Yeah, all right.